Hi, students. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. I didn't even know how I saw this video, but I thought I'd bring it here because the truth is that some people have refused to acknowledge what they did to people that look like me, and to this very moment, they are running around. Why? Because they are not ever going to accept that. Rather, they will look for a way to tell us that the things that we are doing in our community that is affecting everybody without talking what they are also doing. Now they say my community is this, my community is that, my community is the other one, right? And I am going to ask this: is what is going on in my community not happening in every other person's community, right? Why is it that my own community is over policed and your own community is not over policed, right? Why is it that it is always about us when you all do not even want to talk about the mass incarceration and other thing that has happening and is still happening to Black people to this very moment? You want to defend all that. Why? Because it is always us. You all don't remember the ones you have done or the things you have done that is affecting my own community. You want to talk about drugs, how it's impacting my this thing. You all have refused to understand or agree that you all put up what it's the drugs that started in my own community. See, I want you, when you want to talk about what is going on in my community, I want you to talk about the ones you all planted in that community. I think by so doing, it will be balanced. Let's get into this video.
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes,
about half of all prisoners are Black.
Exactly.
So Blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings. For example, Blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders. That's not a war on drugs, that's a culture problem.
Okay, so let's talk about that culture. Black people have been legislatively subjugated up until 1965. I'll give it, I mean, honestly, it's later, but let's just say 1965. You do not think that 10 generations of legislative subjugation and slavery during that time, 4,000 Black men, women, and children are lynched as the result of race riots in this country? You do not think that these things have a lasting effect? We have had 10 generations of subjugation and 4 of legislative freedom.
Of course they have an impact, but it's more on you to explain why things got worse since the Civil Rights Act. More violent, less fathers around, poorer. Why is that?
So, because of mass incarceration and the unfair criminalization of Black men.
But let's just take murders, for example. Why Blacks are 13% of the population and commit 58% of the murders? Why is that?
Because people in affluent and whiter neighborhoods are not being policed at the same rate. There are more police.
I'm talking about dead bodies. There's no, we're not talking about policing, we're talking about murders. Why are so many Blacks committing murders outside of their population?
Okay, let's take it back to some history.
I'm curious for an answer to that question.
I'm going to give you one. So let's go to redlining. Okay, redlining.
Redlining
yes.
is why so many Blacks are killing each other?
No, let me finish my claim. Okay. And then you can respond. Is that okay? Okay. So redlining, federally mandated or sustained by the FHA, right? Separating Black Americans to specifically impoverished and relegated areas of the country. We are incapable of buying homes and putting equity into neighborhoods with lower crime rates and better educational systems. We do not have access to things that would uplift and help our community. When you are put in an environment that promotes and reinforces social and economic inequality, you become desperate and are forced to do things that maybe don't align with your values.
But you're making an excuse for a
now,
lot of murder,
when you have
a lot of stealing,
a high concentration of a subjugated people in one area.
If you were right, when Blacks in America did not have the same rights they had today, they were less murderous, there was less break-ins. Why is that?
So I'm sorry, are you trying to say that Blacks thrive under subjugation?
No, I'm not. I'm saying I'm asking you the question. The data shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were afraid. I mean, 4,000 Black men, women, and children were killed
so
in
that's-
violent
if
lynch mobs.
If that's your explanation, but I guess
Racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is
you don't
worse
think
than it has been
that
in the
affected
last 80 years.
the generational psyche of an entire group of people?
No, I'm sure it did. I'm not discounting that. I'm just trying to understand, why is it the more social welfare we've done? So we've spent $20 trillion on uplifting black communities. $20 trillion, and black Americans are poor. We've done everything that's been asked.
You haven't done everything that's been asked, though.
Great society,
because what is
food
being
stamps,
asked?
subsidized housing, Medicaid, public schooling, subsidized college. We're talking about $20 trillion that has been spent on the Great Society, and yet Black America is poorer, more murderous, more dangerous. So there's an explanation. I'm asking you to
But we are
explain
not
that to
asking
me.
for handouts. We are asking for equity.
Hold on,
And
what
part
is
of
that? What does
equity
equity mean?
is
You mean taking
allowed.
from other people?
Excuse me. It means sharing.
I don't know what black people is confused about. I don't know why y'all keep running in circles. I don't know why y'all keep making excuses. I don't know why y'all keep trying to find convenient ways to unify. I don't know why y'all keep trying to find cheap ways to unify. You want to stop oppression. You want to stop police killings. You want to stop racism. You want to stop brutality. Let's make it real simple. 1 + 1 = 2, right? Cool. If all the black people in Texas get together and put their guns together, shit'll change. If all the black people in Illinois do the same, shit'll change. If all the black people nationwide in each state do that, and then from there, once we have each state on code, then we bring it all together. But until we start with the small things, we can never get to the big things. See, y'all too busy debating about Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. You too busy debating about who fucking who. You too busy debating about gossip. You too busy spilling tea. You too busy trying to live a life that you can't afford to live. You too busy doing all the things except live within your purpose. What do you expect? Y'all are scared. Everybody's scared. It's okay. We human. It's all right. You want to stop all of these things, the racism, you want to stop all of it, right? You just have to put together a team that is on code and shoot back. See, a couple things need to happen. All you tech savvy people, meaning people that can create websites and apps that are black, why haven't you created our own social? Y'all are leaving money on the table. Why haven't you created a black-owned social media app? Why are you so focused on designer clothes from the brands that don't even want you wearing their clothes? Why are you so focused on giving your attention and your mind and your emotions to entertainers that have proven time and time again they just want your dollar? They do not want your criticism. They do not care about your criticism. They do not care about what's good for the community. They only care about what's good for their pocket. See, it's something y'all got to learn about Oreo motherfuckers. Okay? Oreo motherfuckers, when they in poverty, everything's bad. Everything's oppression. Everything's racism. Everything's brutality. But as soon as they get a dollar put in their pocket, as soon as they run their money up, now all of a sudden America ain't so bad. See, that's a sellout. And 90% of these entertainers, 90% of these athletes, sellouts. Go look at when Kaepernick kneeled. How many of them kneeled with him? Sports ain't nothing but modern day Mandingo fights. Go look it up. They've conditioned you into a cycle of self-destruction, and now you can't get out of it because you're unwilling to do the hard stuff to get out of it. The hard stuff being unify on a small level first so we can get to the big level. The small stuff being pick a social media influencer, pick somebody you deem as a good leader for the community and fund them. We're going to have to put money behind somebody. Y'all keep trying to act like money don't need to move. Money got to move. This is America. Whether you like it or not, this is America, and money got to move for shit to change. I don't give a damn. You don't like me. You don't like how blunt I am. You don't like how I give it up. All right, cool. Get the fuck off my page. I don't care. I don't want your dollar. I'm telling you, make a move, pick somebody or a few people, fund them, tell them what your expectations are for those funds, and let's get going. Things could have been changed, but we not moving because nobody wants to do the hard stuff. Nobody wants to do the inconvenient stuff. Everybody wants to do, oh, well, look on Instagram. Chris Brown got girls spending $1,000 on him. Man, so fucking what? Y'all worrying about Shannon Sharp being gay, but y'all fighting Kendrick Lamar over Lil Wayne, and he was kissing Birdman in the mouth.
And they call it wokeness because calling it basic empathy reveals they're the ones in the wrong that's trying to trivialize having empathy and sympathy for marginalized communities. They have to acknowledge that everything that Jesus has taught them really falls in line with what we're doing and what they call wokeness, but they so lost in the sauce and the money, they were about talking about go woke, go broke. When I seen how mainstream America bastardized the term woke, I understood then that whatever is created to progress my community will always already receive some type of backlash from mainstream America. Folks that beef with the concept of wokeness, oh yeah, they ain't trying to hear nothing about no equity. They ain't trying to hear nothing about no inclusivity. They ain't trying to hear nothing about looking at the basic humanity of other people. It's all about the status quo and about being able to wield their power and their dominance at the expense of somebody else's humanity. I miss the good old days when I can let the N-words, they can stay in their place, and I can tell the women to go to the kitchen and I can keep the gays in the closet. I miss those days. Now these woke warriors are trying to stop me. That's what I hear when y'all talking shit about being woke. Stay woke.
Let's talk about why this election is so important. We literally have racism on the ballot. And of course, we hear from many people the rhetoric from Donald Trump and how harmful it is. I'm telling you from firsthand experience as an ex-Trump supporter, as an ex-white nationalist, who literally joined a white supremacist organization because of my politics and support for Trump at the time. And I say it all the time, Trump didn't make me racist, he just emboldened me to be the person I already was. He appealed to the fear in me. And the problem is, much of white America does not realize how closely aligned their ideology is with white supremacy. Take it from a former white supremacist, they go hand in hand. Why else would you think that white supremacists unequivocally back Trump? When you are spreading hate and misinformation about Haitian immigrants, you are indeed being racist. When you're saying immigrants are stealing black jobs, that is racist. When you're trying to impose Muslim travel bans, you're being xenophobic and indeed probably racist. The politics of white supremacy and racism are deeply rooted into the very fabric of who this country is. And for the first time in a really long time, if ever, we are moving into a phase, a transition of deconstruction and re-educating. And it has white people shook. They are scrambling. They are holding on for dear life to the status quo and the old guard. And this is why it's so important that people exercise their right to vote. It is the bedrock, the foundation of a democracy. And it's a right that I've lost and I long to have restored. So I cannot vote, but I can continue to use this platform and my voice to motivate, organize, and mobilize people into getting out and voting. It's not enough to just not be racist. You have to learn to do the work of anti-racism, and one way you can do that is with your vote. And my challenge for white America right now is to decenter yourself in this conversation and think about what every other demographic of people, every other marginalized group across this country is experiencing right now. The hate, the bigotry, the threats. The only way out of this is through education. And the reason why I made it through the other side is because enough people afforded the space for growth with me. They held space for me to change. And I learned from black educators and black authors and black content creators. And the book that ultimately saved my life and changed my perspective and my worldview was The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness by Michelle Alexander. And if you still believe that systemic racism doesn't exist after reading that book, then you're just being willfully ignorant. So please do me a favor, get out there and vote so people like me can one day have a voice in our society again, so that maybe one day I can vote again. Because although I'm a convicted felon and I cannot vote in the state of Florida because there's a certain party that doesn't want me to, they're still supporting a convicted felon at the top of their ticket. Imagine that. I can't vote, but I could run for president of the United States of America.
So this is all I got from this video, and trust me, this video is very insightful, and I am going to start breaking it down from Charlie Kirk. You all already know Charlie Kirk. See, I am going to say a very big shout out to that young lady, right? That young lady, she also, I mean, she is so young, debating this old man. And it's quite unfortunate that the old man has refused to learn because he is blinded by racism. And now, let's talk about okay, it's always them wanting to remind us that we have more criminals, we have more this, we have more that in Black community, right? Now, let me ask them, wait, I'm looking for the perfect way to put this. This channel is still very important to me, right? And I am gonna try. Does it mean that in their community, things like this do not happen, right? Because each time Charlie Kirk wanna say something about people that look like me, I never see him. I mean, the only place you hear him concentrate on is you all do not have Black fathers. Fathers are not at home. The women are this and that. And the other one is that there are so many of the mass incarceration. See, enough of all that. All this happened because you all over police Black community, right? Are you own people, your own people? Are they, what is happening in my community? Is it not happening in every other person's community? So why is it that when it happens in my own community, it is the problem? Or it is, I mean, world covering, but you all's on is so it's easier to cover up. So he said we are the ones that do kidnappings, criminals, and all, like war on drugs and all that. It is really very crazy how they have refused to accept that they were the ones that put the war on drugs that started in Black community. And unfortunately, the drugs spread. When it spread, some people, there are some stories I hear, just that as sometimes there are some things you want to keep because for your channel safety and for your own sanity and other people's sanity. I remember there was a time I was reading some books and all that, making trying to make research about some certain things that happen, how they do not want Black people to have houses in some other suburbans and all that. And what do they do? What they do is that you see them hire Black people. I mean, it's just amazing how they always look for a way to get us. Right? They hire Black people if if there is a need to sell a house and they don't want them the market, they want the market to drop. You know what they would do? They get a Black person, blast music. By the time it drop up and down, they get scared, and the market of the house that you're about to sell drops. Or they look for some women, put in the get a baby trolley, put babies inside it. Like by the time they walk up and down, they're like, what is going on? Is this turning to a Black neighborhood and all? See, they also are working against themselves, not even using my own people also. He said we were given housings, schooling, and all that just to make woo. Charlie Kirk is just something else, really. Are we going to talk about mass incarceration? All right, we'll move over to the second video where Moses Kane, that's his name, he was talking about how we need to put on our Pe0ple, right? Everybody put on our Pe0ple and try to work together. Are we the ones to put down our Pe0ple? Because last I checked, I don't think we are the ones having more Pe0ple than any other person. I don't know if that makes sense. We need to unify, we need to come together, but I am not advising or telling anybody to go and put down Pe0ple, right? In order to make things work. See, this is a two-way thing. We want to make it work. Every other person also want to make it work. But if we want to make it work, we also want to make it work for my own community. I am not agitating for any other person. And so far, I don't think my community use more Pe0ple, but I stand to be corrected. You never can tell. Feel free to let me know in the comment section, right? We want to unify, we want to stay united and all that. But I want to ask, why is this message not for other people? Let them put on there, because last I checked, I cannot remember the last Pe0ple that happened, the people that did it, right? So I don't think this message is for us. But if you are, I understand. Maybe I am like not misunderstanding. But if this is like telling us to put down our armors and everything down so we all can unify, that I cannot understand. But if you are trying to say that we have to put everything down in order to be part of other people, I don't think we are the ones holding more of all this. I hope I am taking it two ways, because I might be wrong here and I might be right, but I can be wrong here and at the same time, hopefully. But feel free to let me know. And they call everything we do work, because calling it basic empathy, reveals that they are the ones at wrong. So what do they have to do? They say it work, but you know what? Do not ever stop being woke, because the day you stop being woke, that is the end of you. Anybody that is not woke, awoken, right? If you are on a long thing, something is going to happen to you, right? I can keep saying the last man really crowned it all, because he also made people, or made us understand that this particular election is very, very important. Why? Because so many things has happened to people that look like me. I see a lot of them everywhere, saying, what have they done for you people for how many years? But I don't understand how some people are blind. Looking at what is going on right now with Project 2025 at hand, there is someone you shouldn't be thinking of if you really want the best for yourself, right? Like you talked about mass incarceration, Jim Crow, and all that. All those things are still affecting people that look like me. Did slavery ever go away? Of course not. It's evolved. So all this, whoo. Sometimes I am overwhelmed with all these things I hear, like a lot of, I am not saying my community is perfect. We cannot be perfect, which I always, I scream about it all the time. But I want everybody to know that what is going on in my own community is happening in every other person's community. And instead of you to focus on your own community, you are busy looking for a way to drag my own community to make us feel like we are your problem, right? But no. We are not anybody's problem. We are nobody's problem. They are always colorblind and all that. They don't know green from yellow. When they see the green light, they run it. They know it's green. But they come and tell me that everybody's equal. It's unfortunately quite crazy that they don't see the systemic racism that is happening. Are they not seeing all that? This is to tell you that some of them, what do they call that? Selective amnesia or something, right? They select the ones that is good for them to, and leave the ones that is not good for them to talk about. Continue to be woke. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.